Hi, I'm Behan, and yep, you got me, I'm Irish. Now, I came to Australia many decades ago, and I came here with no prospects and no really great opportunity to be able to do anything. One thing that I kind of did have going for me was property was in my DNA. Now, if you know the history of Ireland, most of the property and land in Ireland was owned by these mega barons, and then everybody else like us, we had to work our fingers to the bone to kind of feed these mega barons, to feed their wealth and feed what they were doing. And property was in my DNA because my dad used to say to me, son, bricks and mortar is the way to make your life happen. Bricks and mortar can change your life. Now, Australia, as you know, is 110 times bigger than Ireland. I knew if I could own and work out a strategy to own a part of this, that this for me was going to be a game changer. So my initial problem was, how am I going to do this? Because the banks certainly weren't going to loan me any money at all whatsoever, not at that time. So out of pure necessity, I realized that I had to do something greater. So I started to read and study everything that I could about property because I knew that the answer was in that. I just had to find a way to make all of this happen. Even though I worked from early in the morning till late at night, I knew I had to put time and energy into myself. So in working my fingers to the bone when I came to Australia, I knew that there was an escape if I could just study this and find this way. So all of a sudden then I came across a book by the very own Mr. Packer. You've read about him, I'm sure, yourself. And I realized that Packer had come along and he had found an old rundown printing factory. He'd gone to the owner of the printing factory, he'd signed up an agreement with that owner for $1 down to buy that factory from him at some stage in the future. He then went off and told his competition he was going to be opening up a newspaper factory. The competition didn't want him to do that, so the competition came in and bought the factory from him, even though he never paid for the factory, he'd never put the factory into his name, he'd never signed up any mortgages in that factory, and he literally sold the factory, paid the property owner then the money that he owed him for the factory, and made a very hefty profit all along the way with a $1 deal. I became addicted to it, and I decided I have to really learn this strategy. This is it. This is my way out. I realized that this was the key to the gate. So I decided to study everything that I could about it, and then I truly learned this whole strategy called property options. So in studying this whole strategy, I kept coming across the same names: Richard Branson, Robert Kiyosaki, Warren Buffett, Donald Trump. They all just kept popping up, these multi-million-dollar and billion-dollar deals. But then I realized that this strategy actually worked for a $100,000 deal, a $200,000 deal, a $1 million deal, a $10 million deal, a $1 billion deal. It doesn't matter. The strategy works right across the board. And I thought, getting into property, not buying the property, never owning the property, not having to go to the bank to get the mortgage for the property, none of that pain and difficulty, no stamp duty, and still make a hefty profit. Brilliant. This deal, this whole process was going to work. I just had to perfect this process. So what we're going to do now is, let's look at some of the projects that I've done and some of the people that I've been working in the trenches with. And for the last 10 years, I've been in the trenches, at the coalface, chipping away with people, making this whole strategy work. Let's have a look at some of those for a moment. Now, because of property options, I now have the lifestyle that I want, the travel that I want, the home that I want, the business that I want, all down to that strategy called property options, because I put the time and energy in. And as you can see, I love the chase. I love getting that deal over the line. I love working with people like you to help you fulfill your property dreams and allow me to get that deal in for you. That is what I love best about this strategy now, property options, helping other people just like you.